Hey everybody, it's Wesley with All Pistons Garage. Guys, we're at the Fall Alapahoochee Tractor and Heritage Day Home Day show here in Lake Park, Georgia. Guys, we try to attend this. They have a spring and a fall show. So we're gonna walk around. We're gonna take a look at a lot of antique things from back in the day. We'll step back in time and I'm gonna bring you guys with us. Let's get in. Sometimes I wonder, guys, there was a lot of families fed from these earlier pieces of machinery. But you know, at one time, they're antiques now, but at one time, they were state of the art. You know, what I mean by state of the art, they were the latest thing, you know, that a farmer could get his hands on to work his land, grow his crops, feed his family, feed your family. That sure is a good looking Cub Cadet right there. I wonder who that belongs to. That's our friend's. He has brought his. He's got his plow set up. These little tractors, they can actually do some pretty good plowing, believe it or not. That's our good friend Tim's here. He got his front end loader set up here on display today. Made a video on some of Tim's pieces of equipment that he's got. So if you check out the video from last spring on the channel, he kind of does an in-depth on those pieces of equipment, especially the international. Now guys, this is a pretty neat setup right here. Got the grill, got the seats. That's a good use of a tractor there. It may be retired, but it still has some usage. Nice 48 8-in Ford there. Another 48. You know, guys, some of these tractors are still in use today. Some people still mow their lawn, work their garden. Yeah. There's one that runs off of propane. Yep. Old morning sun's playing havoc with the shadows, so we just have to work with what we got the best we can here. '53 Farmall. Wow, look at this combine, guys. No air conditioned cab, not even a roof, exposed to all the dust and everything flying back up on you. Yep, you don't see that today, but guys, back in the day, this was quite a piece of equipment. Your air conditioned cab and everything come years later, but this still got the job done. Quite a few good sized John Deeres here. These are some good sounding tractors right here. Later on, they'll have a parade and you'll hear them with these dual pipes. I mean, they sound pretty good. 6030 John Deere. Got the old cab, air conditioned. Pretty good sized tractor. Old sawmill. Got a selection of what I call tricycle tractors here. 2 front tires put together. I think that was kind of the design when the tractor first, come out. And a lot of them, they had that design. And eventually they spreaded the front axle out. Massey Ferguson. Well, we got one of those. John Deere, been around a long time. You can tell this is made for going in like maybe orange trees or whatever. This thing, the branches just go up and over, shields the equipment. Plus, don't break the branches off, whatever fruit trees or whatever crop they're getting with it, apples, oranges, whatever. Pretty neat. Another propane John Deere. Also got a swap meet going on. Got quite a few things going on. People selling anything from old tools to, old engines. Just a lot of antique stuff here can be picked up. Stuff you don't never see anymore. Quite a selection of John Deere's here. Some of these tractors are restored perfectly. Some of them are still in their natural state, patina wise and everything. How they are this many years later. Pretty good sized propane tractor right there. Oh, what is this? A Belarus? Is that how you say that? A Belarus? I don't think I've ever seen one of these before. But then again, I don't know a lot about tractors. But I don't think I've ever seen this one. Pretty unique setup. Got a bench on the back. Guys, if you ever get a chance to come here, today the weather is beautiful. But if you look behind me, look at all the shade. And this thing goes down and around like an L shape. 75% of this show is in the shade. So even if the weather's not as beautiful it is today, you can still come out and enjoy it and still be shaded from the sun. Because like I say, 75% of this show is in the shade. Some more Farmalls here. Here's one. Man, you know, a tricycle, steel wheels. Good looking John Deere right there. You know, these tractors look kind of small, but you'd be surprised at the kind of work they performed back in the day. A Hart Par New Zealand Special. Wow. Not seeing what year it is on here, but sounds like somebody's got a older boat motor fired up behind us. I love looking at these older cars. Spare tire on the side. Just enough room for two in here. It's very nice. Rumble seat. You flip that back. And imagine somebody sitting back there, kind of like being in the back of a truck. Got your luggage. Again, guys, back in the day, this was the latest and greatest. Tools of yesterday, folks. Tools of yesterday. Quite a collection here. Right down to the old grinder of some sort. How would you like to get up on a cold morning and have to use a hand crank to crank your car? That's the way they actually started them up before they got advanced enough to have an electric starter on them. It'd be kind of rough. Also, I've heard people talk about, especially on like your tractors and all, were the same way. If that thing was to ever kick back, they said about break your wrist. Felt like it'd break your wrist anyway. Well, looks like we got the boiler lit. Getting ready to fire off the old steam engine here. Guys, you can see in there, maybe you can see some of the flame. Man, could you imagine standing right there? I can feel the heat off of this thing. But that's how this thing was powered. Put the wood into the burner and heated up the water. And then you had to sit right there next to that. Holy cow, guys. Man. Keeping the dust down on the road, putting a little moisture out. Long belt, guys, run by the McCormick. That's what I was talking about with the hit and miss engines. They run something similar that way with a belt. You could run, you know, grinders, maybe a sawmill, different things. It took quite a bit of engineering to figure that out. There's a lot of stuff that has to work together. You can see it up in there. A lot of moving parts. I tell you, these things don't look like much, but if you could afford one back in the day, they were worth their weight in gold. That's how you started them back in the day. Wasn't no starter.
That's why I took it out of that covered trailer being bit small. He had all kind of ideal stuff to do with it. How you doing, sir?
Hey, buddy.
That's a little old steamboat motor, and it's got a reverse, so you can back it into split while everybody else
Man,
fight the wind.
to have that reverse, that was a big deal, wasn't it? It was a big deal. Yeah, man. I sort of thought that's what it was when I first seen it.
It should be facing the other, or it should be
Right, turned around facing the back, but yeah.
got a hole for that flywheel. Must have been an issue for him.
Huh.
Turned it around.
Yeah, that was quite the deal.
Yeah, it was for that back then.
Yep. guys, we're gonna take a little ride. They're gonna do some plowing with the Cub Cadets, and we're gonna ride over there and check it out. That's the way it was back then, guys. Them small Farmall tractors, they put in the heavy work. And these garden tractors, guys, that's why these are called actual garden tractors. They got frames. They actually have differentials like real tractors. Today they say garden tractor, but the tractors, the lawnmowers they sell today, they are not true garden tractors. These are actually miniature tractors right here. They just don't build them like this anymore. This is a true, what you're seeing is what you call true garden tractors. Alright guys, that's going to conclude the video today from the Alapahoochee Heritage Days here in Lake Park, fall 2025. Guys, for those of you that like the videos, thank you. For those of you that share them, thank you. For those of you that subscribe, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And guys, I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Have a good one, guys.